Hey, Amatska. Hope you're doing fine. Nice to see you in here. Did it work with the files I've been sending you? Did you get to check already? And welcome in Maestro as well. Long time no stream. I didn't really get to play much lately, so as always, when we haven't streamed for a while, I'm not entirely sure what we'll dive into today. I think we're mainly gonna do some boring replacement stuff of old things and probably eventually have a look at the UFO I've been making. I'm sure both of you have seen everything, so maybe not the most interesting for you, but I hope interesting for others at least. One of the things I've been wanting to change for ages, because this is an asset Jay made, and obviously with the little possibilities we had without the editor, this is actually, in my opinion, a very well made and good asset. The only thing I don't like very much, and here comes a bit of the kicker, is when we go into nighttime. That entire thing is very bright and it doesn't really shine at the letters but at the ground. So we have a more appropriate alternative that we've gotten on PDX Store. I've posted so in my Discord a while ago already, but I actually want to go ahead and also use those in game. So we're gonna replace some of the old assets and add in new ones. I think that's probably one of the things we'll keep doing a bit more in the next time, because my own humble opinion, I think the quality of uploads in the PDX mods has gotten a lot better recently, and there's a lot of very exciting mods that made it up there. So I am wholeheartedly very excited to get to use more of those. Not sure how you guys feel about it. And how are both of you cuties doing today? Is that testing going well for your new beta version, Maestro? I was actually thinking about maybe using it on stream, but then I have to admit I'm a bit of a bitch. I care too much about this save to be willing to risk anything about it, so I didn't in the end because I'm too scared. I'm sure I'm looking forward to actually using the proper version as soon as it's out, but yeah, since I'm gonna wait and let others suffer with potential bugs. I don't even think there's gonna be any bugs, but I try avoiding like non-well tested mods in our main save at least. And some of these don't have, okay, this is the G, actually, we need this. And the G is actually one of the main things that I think gotten a lot better, because again, nothing that Jay could have done better about these. These are made very well with the possibilities we had. But obviously the G is not exactly the best readable. So compared to the new G we just placed down there, I think this is a pretty nice upgrade. Am I blind? Oh, I am indeed oh, actually, that does look like something went wrong here. Is that just me? Compare it with the textures of all of the other ones we placed down already. These all have nice and clean textures. And then we have this, which I guess something went wrong. You can quite literally see the stretched UVs on here. So maybe, I'm not sure if this guy has a thread up on his mod, but maybe something I should report. Not a big problem for us. We're still gonna go ahead and use those, but yeah, it is somewhat noticeable, even from further away. I How are things looking for the S-Bahn? Do you think is gonna take you a long time? You're actually the S-Bahn, just for my re-understanding, it's an entire proper asset and train, not a re like right everywhere reskin, correct? But yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, because honestly, these new ones are a lot more pretty than the old ones, but then the V hurts slightly, I guess, but not the end of the world. Okay, and this is not going to be the most exciting, but I do care about all of these being properly aligned. So first things first, we're going to choose one of these and copy the rotation over to all of them, just to make sure that's correctly. All of these lower ones should be correct because we placed them together. These upper ones might be slightly different. Does not look like it, but now it's clean at least. And now we're gonna take one of this, and we're gonna be lazy and just copy the position on there. And then we're gonna have to see how far away we want those. Probably, hold on, we're actually gonna adjust this right away. I think it's gonna need at least 6 meters or something like that. So let's have a look if we do this. Actually, even more. Let's go with 12 for now, just so we have this somewhat aligned and we can go back and fix this up afterwards. But I do care about this being nice and clean, so I always rather work with values for these kind of things. I don't think you have not. Yeah, the custom boards are very nice, wholeheartedly. Always enjoy these. And am I being silly? Does this not look like the bottom is not perfectly aligned? Maybe it's just because we're looking at it at an angle. Gonna keep doing it proper for this right now. We can recheck afterwards when we deleted the other ones. I have to admit, I'm still curious. Like, it actually does seem like my game stabilizes a little after a while, but I wholeheartedly have gotten quite a bit of FPS loss in these last upgrades, which is very easy to pinpoint. In my case, it's my too weak graphics card, because the moment I lower my graphic settings, my FPS rise quite substantially. So very obvious to tell that it's due to my non-great graphic card. But I'm curious because it does not seem like many people have gotten more performance issues. I, meanwhile, totally have. And let's go ahead already. And this is an exciting moment because we're doing more upgrades and changing to better assets. We're gonna yeet out these original ones. Because to be honest, with how rural our entire build is, I wholeheartedly think no lightning on this is actually more appropriate. Maybe we can have a look at what we can do with spotlights, but then again, I think we're so rural. I actually quite like not having any of those. And then obviously we'll have to go back in here real quick and fix up the margins between the letters a little, because very obvious to tell that something like this, for example, should be a bit closer. Or we space out everything a bit more. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the better option. Let's have a quick look at this. I actually think spacing out everything more is what we want. But yeah, we definitely want to hope that the asset creator goes back and fixes the view. Because for us, that does hurt quite a bit, I think. And welcome in, Gaga. Nice to see you, cutie hero. You are probably playing Stalker, as always lately. Gaga has developed a bit of a Stalker addiction, and we need to make sure we don't lose Gaga to playing Stalker all the time, and he stays with us and still plays City sometimes. guess we do want them fairly low. What do we think? Do we need to run this even wider? They are a lot more condensed than the old letters we had. So maybe we actually want to space them even wider. Having a look at this, I think we're gonna go in and actually raise these margins all by one. Yeah, I do think that looks better if they're a bit wider. The S actually looks like it is a tad too far away. So we're gonna lower this a little and bring those closer. But otherwise, I do think this looks better if they're a little closer. Yeah, it's crazy, Gaga, because generally you probably know the game better than most people and shouldn't have that many issues troubleshooting. But yeah, I guess something is really weird with your game, because from what you've been testing already, I'm also kinda clueless. Neither do your mods tell me very much, so actually very weird and interesting. Holy, that FPS. I get more of these big FPS stutters. Like in general, I do think our FPS have definitely gotten worse. I am not a fan of it. I hope it changes again in future, but I'm a bit lost on why. In general, otherwise the traffic has gotten a lot more normalized already. We've gotten, or I've went ahead and actually deleted a bit. One of the things I want to do today is something that we basically never do in Los Vagos on stream, and it's road work, but there is something really, even with entirely deactivated playset, it doesn't. That have you disabled all of your local files, like your streaming data folder and all of that? Because honestly, that just seems weird. But sorry, back to what I was saying. I think we're actually gonna go ahead and do some road work, because generally I try to really keep Los Vagos 2 lanes only at turn lanes really only where necessary. I want this to be very rural and not that full. One of the very problematic intersections for us is this one. And it is because we have this right turn here, and the right turn often gets blocked by the through traffic from across, and at that moment we're getting a big line here. It's not really the amount of traffic that we struggle with, but just not having a turn lane here. And we spent a lot of time to actually detail this side of our bridge underpass very nicely. Meanwhile, this side looks kinda weird and unfinished. So what we're gonna do today, and I'm not sure how we do this the best way, but is giving this a separate turn lane. So we're gonna go in and add a 3-lane road here and then work from there. Again, I suck at road work. You guys probably gonna look at this and be like, oh my god, what the heck is he doing? But I'm trying my best. I just am not great at road. So let's see how well we're doing here. One of the problem is because we have so many decals and everything everywhere that it's sometimes a bit hard seeing with direction the asymmetric roads go. So I'm gonna place this. Obviously, we're breaking some stuff, but we can fix all of that up in a moment. And now we're gonna have a look at if this already goes the right way. It does look like it, because we do want 2 lanes here and then have a single turning lane where all of the others can pass through. Maybe we even want to bring it a tad further here. Actually, I think this is pretty spot on because we're starting exactly at this road here. So these people have their own street to turn into. So I think this actually is pretty solid already. I want to recheck the connections real quick just to see if this is fine. Obviously, we want to remove all of these weird ones. And this is also not what we want to have in here. And this is the last one that we want out. The rest of this looks fine. This looks a bit buggy. Probably if we would not have dirty roads and decals on top of everything, this would look slightly unclean. For us, it's not really an issue because we have stuff on top of everything anywhere. That seems so weird. Like, it really, you must have changed something about your game that you added recently that is causing you those issues. But yeah, not a great situation. Especially because this game loads so incredibly slow, which wholeheartedly I don't mind so much when my game is working. But then, yes, when you're troubleshooting and every launch takes forever, it indeed is very painful. So I feel with you, Gaga. Hope you can get it worked out sometime soon. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up here a bit, because obviously now we made the street wider. We have a bunch of stuff where we don't want it. I think we can keep most of it and just move it in a bit further and make sure our grass is not way too high. And then we're gonna have to see what we're doing under the bridge as well. Maybe we're actually gonna try to copy this side a bit and get this over on both sides. Maybe we find a more natural solution here. I've not yet decided on it. But I do think this is pretty much the only fix we need to do to traffic. But have you tried what I asked you about? Like the two things, I'm not sure if you said you wanna try it. I'm not sure if you've done it already. But is clearing your EIA database and let it regenerate, which is gonna take forever, but whatever, you can just go do something else in the background. And then the other one is definitely disable everything local, like your entire streaming data folder and such, because the less you have in your playset, the more relevant your testing is gonna be. I actually think some of these rocks that we need to move out of the way, we can try to use more natural here already. I would like to terraform a bit, which we're gonna go ahead and say first, because I am not great at terraforming. So I hope I'm not entirely breaking all of what we're doing right here. But I want to go ahead and try terraform this slightly. Maybe 20 is even more appropriate. I think we probably need to go up to 15 because the smoothing otherwise doesn't work really well. But the heck, why did that just reset? Should these settings not carry across for both of the brushes? I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, see, we need to actually lower this to get this more appropriate. So we're gonna go in, take this level, and then just carefully, without going too extreme, try to get these down a bit. We can try smoothing it in a moment afterwards. But this step up here, I think, is very ugly. Which I should have done this first and then moved all of the rocks and plants, because now we're gonna have to move all of them twice, but you guys watch me enough to know that I'm not known for being clever and thinking ahead while I'm playing Cities Skylines, so moving everything twice it is instead. And welcome in, dear Star Wars fan. Trashy has been playing loads of the new Star Wars game on stream lately, and he's gonna love me saying this because it's actually Star Trek, and Star Trek people seem to get very angry when you talk about Star Wars instead. I indeed choose war. I'm very sorry, Trashy. What are you gonna do? I shouldn't say this because Trashy is working on some very cool housing pack. So he does actually have something I want. So I guess we need to try being a bit more diplomatic so Trashy doesn't blackmail us with his assets he's working on. This is even worse. I mean, if you give wrong Blender advice, the good news, Trashy, is I'm gonna forward all of that advice and credit you with it. So not only are you hurting me, but you're also gonna hurt innocent bystanders, which I am innocent, so I won't take any blame for it. You, meanwhile, might want to think about that. And welcome in, Mesa. Is your city source finally coming back or not? Actually, now where there are so many people, we're gonna go ahead and have a quick look. We're gonna go back and finish this area up here, but we're gonna have a quick look at something I've been working on lately, and I think turned out pretty quick or pretty cute. First things first is we're gonna have to find the original place we're working on. Somewhere in this field. Oh, I guess our animals are broken. Damn it, I need to fix something. We cannot play its animals right now without my game crashing. We did have a flying cow somewhere here in the air. Actually, it's right here. That cow looks fine. We can do it. We can just not touch that cow and it's gonna be dangerous. But I made a new asset. I think it's not gonna be a very popular asset because it's more than just a little silly. I absolutely love it. We have this beautiful cute UFO here, which obviously we want to try place roughly on top of our cow. The reason why I'm so proud of this asset is that I managed to actually animate light and get it to turn around itself. It's not perfect, it's a bit of a quickie project to just try around with things. The even nicer stuff is we can have those used as police helicopter or ambulance helicopter. I'm going to show you guys in a moment. But that actually means we can have those flying around over our city. And we currently already have that because I was testing with it a bit yesterday. So every once in a while, you will see an UFO fly over our city at random, which I think is pretty cool. In fact, I think maybe, goddammit, my FPS, is this an UFO flying back here? Yes, see, this is the other UFO. I made two versions of these. We have this a bit more modern spaceship uh, UFO, I guess, or sci-fi UFO, and then we have the small, very classical one. This is working as an ambulance, so it flies around the map and actually collects sick people. And then the other one is a police chopper, so it just roams over the map and pretty much patrols. We can have a look at how they're flying in a moment. I just want to have a look at this scene first. Again, is an asset that I don't think will see much usage outside of Los Vagos. For me, it was more learning how to actually animate lights and get stuff to move. But I am very excited because we can now finally take our cute cow scene here and get it a bit more appropriate. The one thing that sadly I cannot really do is give this a beam, but we can do that with right everywhere. It's not something I can include in my assets, but it's something people effectively can build by themselves. And we're gonna try our luck with that here. I've tried around in the past with these right everywhere things and having them look a bit like laser. It's not perfect, but I do think it's not horrible either. So we're gonna have a look here. If we like the result, we keep it. If we don't, then we don't. But let's have an idea. You cannot. I. The game does not accept transparency, is the problem. I tried that. And even though we have an opacity mask that we can use, if the opacity in this game, at least from my testing, works very simplistic. It works in a way where you have opacity either on or off, right? So you can totally use opacity and it will work as well. But from my testing so far, at least, the way opacity has been behaving for all of the tests I've been doing is the mesh either shows if you're above 50% opacity, or the mesh entirely does not show if you're below that value, which is a bit sad. Otherwise, yeah, sure, I would agree. I did not find a perfect solution for it. I think right everywhere does work fairly well for this. Obviously, it's a square and not a beam, but we can actually make this look in a way. I mean, maybe I will revisit. To be honest, this is just a really quick problem for me to learn, or project for me to learn things on. I don't think this is a very interesting product for most people, so I don't really plan on putting the world of effort into this. In fact, I already put a lot more effort into this than I think the project actually is worth it. We probably want to do this a bit thinner. What's a bit sad is that we cannot make it thinner in the top and wider at the bottom. But again, we're gonna try our best with this. Something like 80 maybe roughly fits our engine pretty well. With this, we're gonna have to try around, but we wanna turn this entire thing emissive. And a lot smaller, I can already see. Maybe something like 50 by 50. I mean, wholeheartedly, I think this is pretty solid. Well, the problem is a bit, and welcome in, Sunny. Nice to see you, cutie here. Are you excited for going to Sweden already? I think most people are leaving tomorrow or something. But one of the reasons what I wanted to say, Trash Can, why it is a bit complicated for me to add a beam onto this actual thing is that I'm reusing this mesh on the static non-moving prop version and on the actual flying chopper version that we're gonna have a look at in a moment. So if I add a beam to the actual thingy, it will also be happening on the actual asset, but I don't want it to be happening on the one that's flying around. I pretty much just want it to happen on a scene. And I do think, while this surely is not perfect, I think it works pretty well. Can I have a bit more look at this? I
That's
actually think
cute.
we can make it a tad smaller even, maybe 35 by 35. But I think this works as a beam. Obviously, maybe the beam should actually hit the cow. I would like to just touch the cow and move it over, but the animals in my game are very buggy because I have two local packs of the animals right now. So it's big risk of crashing to actually touch the animals for me, so I'm gonna refrain from doing that while we're streaming. I'm gonna try that off stream instead. I actually think we want a lot of exposure. The question is none of these should matter, I think. Yeah, no, none of this matters. What we could do, and what I'd like to do, is actually only have this on during the night, but then I think we cannot hide the actual pillar, so it would show incomplete still. We can have a look at this here. Yep, see, this is exactly why opacity in cities is so weird, because there is no opacity. While we have the opacity mask, it behaves the same with Blender models. You either see the mesh or you don't, but there is no actual limit of transparency, which Yeah, again, is a bit sad, but not the end of the world. And let's try to, instead of moving the cow, the beam should move with us. So we're gonna move this right on top. And then I think this works quite well, honestly. Let's have a look at how this looks during the night. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I have to admit, I very much like this. I think this works fine enough. It's just supposed to be a small, silly scene. I already put way too much effort in this small, silly scene by making models for it. And I'm sure we can make this better in future, but for now, I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. I actually think this looks quite nice. I mean, we actually have one of our working spaceships kinda destroys humans. We're gonna have a look at that now. I just want to wait for the outbreak to be over so everybody can hear me again. But the functional UFOs, which scare me a little, because it's not only, how do I frame this the correct way? My computer is not great, right? Let's say it carefully like that. And because our city is very big and complex, does not matter if we follow our UFO or follow a helicopter. Sometimes my game will shit itself because it's a bit too much for it if the screen moves that fast. So that might totally happen if we follow around the spaceship. I really hope it doesn't because my game loads take for goddamn ever. Like, especially while I have all of the streaming software open in the background, I think I load roughly half an hour to get into the game. So I really hope that we're not gonna crash on stream with this. Sorry for the flashbang, but we can have a look. In fact, look here. Up there is one of our UFOs flying around. We can quite literally just go back to it and have a little look. Again, my computer is not great, so this will struggle a little because we're going over the entire map while doing this. But this is basically what's happening. I think it's really cool. This thing is, again, it functions as a police helicopter, so it just slowly flies over our map from A to B. I think we have a pretty nice alternative to road trips now. While I go to the toilet or something, and you guys are looking at my city. In past, that has pretty much always been a road trip. In future, maybe we're gonna do a bit more UFO flyovers of the city, because I guess it is a pretty nice way to actually look around the city. One thing I'm not certain, I actually want to try this out. Can we go into photo mode and hide the UI while we follow? We can. That actually is very cool. Because yes, then I do think this is a pretty cute way to look at things. I think the ambulance one, the bigger one, is actually the even cooler one because it does pick up actual people and play animations and like put up a, oh, hold on. Is that the other UFO? This one, we can follow this one a little. We might have to wait a bit because this one, again, like I just said, functions as an ambulance helicopter. So it actually needs people to get sick. And we have a fairly low population in Los Vagos, so sometimes it takes a moment for it to find a new sick person that needs a pickup. But if it does, and I hope we don't have to wait so long, I think it's very cool. Again, my computer is just a little too weak for that. I hope the frames are not horrible in the stream for you guys. For me, this definitely is noticeably worse than it should be. But yes, cause it's an ambulance helicopter, we're just using a star cube ploppable block here just to spawn it. So it's just gonna sit here on top of the hospital, waiting for the next sick person. And then as soon as somebody falls sick that needs a pickup, we will start and fly somewhere. Oh, that actually was not a long wait. And I'm gonna turn on the night for this. Because this one actually I think is the more exciting of the two UFOs. The other one is the prettier UFO by itself. This one is cooler functionally. What it does, I think actually this works out really cute. Just have a look with me and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Sometimes they are a bit buggy, in all fairness. The actual ambulance helicopters have the same problems that we have though, so it's not something we can really avoid. Let's hope this is a less buggy one. Where are we flying? Where's our injured person? I mean, Los Vagos is probably the silliest build in existence of Cities Skylines, so I figured if I should make an asset like this, or if there is an asset like this, I guess I should be the one making it, because it indeed is very silly. It is just a bit scary for me because my computer is so weak, and again, even if we just follow a normal helicopter, these flyovers in Los Vagos are slightly scary because if my graphic card hicks up too much, then yeah, we might be welcomed by my desktop. But sometimes it works better, sometimes it works worse. Okay, see, now it goes down to collect up somebody. Sadly, here the person is in the building. Then it's not as cool. It's even better if the person actually is in the free, because in that case, you guys seen how the spotlight turned on. It actually turns on the spotlight on top of the person that it's picking up, and then the person disappears. Oh, it's the dog. See? We just teleported the dog up into the UFO. The dog disappeared. I love it because the people actually disappear, right? If it flies on top of it. And it turns on the spotlight. And then, yes, now we're gonna return to the hospital. Yes, they indeed abducted the dog. I absolutely love it. So we will now have flying UFOs on top of Los Vagos every once in a while. In fact, we already had UFOs in the past. Jay made UFOs a long time ago before we had proper custom asset support. And I love them. They were very cute. They were very fun. But I do think mine are a slight upgrade over the UFOs we had in the past. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the UFO of Jay, and we're gonna keep this one instead. And my PC specs are my processor. I don't think is the problem. Is a like let me remember correct. Is a Ryzen 7600X. My GPU is the thing that actually is problematic. Is a 6700 XT from Team Red. It's not a bad GPU. It was a budget entry model GPU from 3 or 4 years ago. So obviously by now that is not really a lot of performance. What I like to see a lot is that this thing actually sees quite a lot of usage in Los Vagos, cause it seems like, unsurprisingly, in a city like Los Vagos, people are falling sick somewhat often. And welcome in, cutie. Nice to see you in my chat. Indeed, you guys are honored by cheeky fan number one, though I think maybe it's the opposite. I think I might be little firecrack fan number one. I hope this time we're picking up somebody who's out in the open. Again, with the buildings, it's also not bad, but I think it's especially cool if the person is standing out in the open. So let's hope we're picking up somebody that's out in the open this time. Please, please. And after this flight, don't worry, guys, we're gonna go back to actually building and playing the game. But I had to share this. Like, I wholeheartedly, I think this is so silly, and it worked out so much better than I anticipated it would at first. That I am incredibly happy that we have this. Oh, it's the same house. I guess people like to get sick in here. Is a bit sad because again the person is not outside. I think the animation is a lot cooler if the person is outside already, but that is not something I can control. We're pretty much just reusing the prefab of the actual helicopter, like ambulance helicopter of the game. Yeah, maybe actually. Oh, they're abducting another dog. What is happening in this house? Why are the aliens only abducting dogs, and why are there so many sick dogs in this house? Yeah, like what? Good. I'm not the only one pointing that out. I think the next thing we have to build is not going back to our road control. We need to actually send a police patrol there. Like, yeah, I also have a lot of questions. Something is not right inside of that house. I'm not sure what they're doing, but it feels like they are abducting dogs and not taking proper care of them. The aliens are actually the good guys in this scenario. They're freeing them out of here. Also, finally, I think this is a great place to stop on. Finally, these corn circles we have in our field down there, which I obviously have nothing to do with it. I wouldn't draw a rocket ship inside of my field. This has been the Ufos. Clearly, I am innocent. I have nothing to do with it. It was the Ufos who drew a rocket ship on top there. Is normal corn circles, I guess, how you see them in sci-fi books. I absolutely have nothing to do with what's going on down there. I actually want to go back and play the game, but now I'm so curious if we're gonna fly back there and collect the next dog. Because by now it feels like everything we're doing is flying to that one house and collecting dogs from there. I mean, if you put it that way, Sunny, I guess sure that's exactly what's happening there. And I'm still so happy. I pointed this out a lot, but guys, look at the trucks that we have driving past. Some of them have the cool loads from Maestro. Some of them have the cool containers. Like, since the asset editor, our city has gotten a lot prettier without me having to do anything for it. And it's just us getting nicer and better assets. We're flying exactly in the same direction. I Oh, this is the last one we're gonna watch. I promise. I will actually play the game in a moment. But what is happening? We're on our way picking up the next dog from the crazy dog abducting house, it feels like. I mean, it's exactly the same direction. Something is very wrong in that place. Holy my FPS. Actually, nicely, I'm looking at my OBS on the second screen. It actually does look a lot smoother for you guys on Twitch than it does look for me on my own screen. Or at least it looks that way in OBS. Maybe you guys have. It's the same how it's gonna be a dog again. It is gonna be a dog again, guys. Yeah, what is happening? I cannot script this. I have nothing to do with this. This is the game being the game, right? Like, I just want to clarify. I did not choose any of this. I did not do anything here. Is a dog. I cannot believe it. What in God's earth is happening here? Okay, we're gonna stop following this because I'm sure you guys had enough. We're gonna detail in this house, and in the meanwhile, maybe we will see if we're coming back. Yeah, maybe the dog is teleporting. I don't understand what is happening here. I also have never, now talking about or noticing this, I've never seen an ambulance. Well, we can follow the dog if he comes back and picks it up. We're gonna do that for the meanwhile, because this house freaks me out so much with stuff happening here. We're gonna go in and do the following. We need a police raid here. We need something to. This is the owner. This is the man who's doing all of this. I mean, wholeheartedly, he looks like somebody who would abduct dogs. Do we trust this person? I don't think we can trust this person after everything we just seen happening here. And now he just walks out of this house with this smile and stare. Look at these side eyes. That guy has definitely done some things. You, sir, will regret all of your actions. You will now get a police raid. We cannot accept any of what is going on in this house. Is actually going to be a standoff like police raid, like I guess is normal in US American countryside. Can even add the Miyata police in here. Okay, police raid is getting prepared. Maybe this house is so sketchy we should even. Why there are so many people coming out of this? What are you doing, miss? She also does not look innocent. You guys see those eyes, right? Do those people look like they've not done anything? She looks so guilty. And yeah, no worries. And thanks for tuning in, Mesa. Nice to see you here as always. And I hope what you've been seeing here today gets you back to Cities Skylines, because obviously there is little games with lore deeper and more interesting than what is happening in Cities Skylines. You've random dog abductions in farms happening. I don't know in which other game you can have something like this. Sadly, this one is slightly sunken in, so we'll try raise it up a little. We're not fans of sunken in vehicles. The others all look okay. And now we're gonna have a look at the Sims of Sulim. I am still sad, but it's nothing he can change that we don't actually have dressed up police officers in this game, because it would allow for so many interesting small scenes, but then that is not something we can do. So I guess, as always, we take the homeless people instead. Homeless people, police officers, basically the same thing anyway, so not too far off. Guys, how many dogs what is happening in this house? 3? 2? It's 3 dogs and an entire family. The Ufos coming back, guys. What is going on? Do you guys see this? This is an absolute 10 out of 10. I don't understand what is going on here today, but it could have not been any better for showcasing our UFOs. Because yes, guys, I also think it should be an FBI raid after what we're seeing here. We need to replace some of the police vehicles with FBI vehicles. Is it going to be a dog again? If so, we're gonna do what you recommended, Sunny, and we're gonna follow the dog and see if it keeps getting teleported back. It's gonna be a dog walking out of this door in a moment from now. There is no question about it. No. There he is! Okay, you? Oh, it's decals everywhere. Come on, we need to be able to. Damn it. I don't think I can. Yeah, no, we have decals that are too high everywhere here. Maybe I can follow him while he's in the UFO already. Otherwise, I don't want to remove all of the decals here just to be able to select him. Let's have a look at this. Patient, Stacy Glover. It's it's a person? It's not a dog. Stacy Glover is not a dog. Maybe it tries to. Yeah, no, going lower doesn't work. This quite literally is an issue because you can see if I hover over this how high this decal is, right? So it goes up to this level. Everything above the game will not be able to recognize because the cursor only sees it. Where do you see that? Oh, this Lily. Okay, yeah, you make a good point. So we're following Lily now, and then we'll find out if Lily is gonna get teleported back to this house. We probably have actually found a bug, I guess. Because, yeah, it must be the same dog that we've been getting back and forth. I mean, dogs in general in this game seem very buggy because we very regularly see dogs walking through the air in the middle of nowhere. So I guess dogs in general are questionable in this game. But yeah, I'm fairly convinced that Sunny is probably right by now. And the dog keeps getting teleported back. I thought we were gonna play City Skylines today. In fact, we're on the hunt for a criminal dog abuse case. This gotten a lot more story driven and deeper than I thought it would. Okay, we're landing. Now what happens to Lily? Lily teleported. Yeah, okay. Is exactly what is happening. You are correct. Now comes the question. This might not even be a game bug. This might actually be a star queue block issue, and not even a star queue block issue, but a me issue, because we place a star queue block here and we place a helicopter, but we don't actually have any service in here. So the sick people that get flown here, they don't actually have any facility to get healed in. So I guess maybe that's the reason why they always. Let's place, just to verify if this is the issue, we're gonna place one out of these two, because then they should be taking care of it. And welcome in, Steve. Nice to see you here. We have been on an interesting case of dog abduction today. We can follow this up one more time, because probably it's gonna feel happen one more time. I was talking about these Ufos earlier in Canadian stream. This is the Ufos we've been building. And this one is an ambulance helicopter. So it flies around the city and picks up sick people. And it's only been picking up the same dog over and over and over again. We are flying in a different direction this time, though. So I actually think we are picking up a person this time, not a dog again. But yes, welcome in, Steve. This is my cute desert shithole called Los Vagos. Is a bit of a crazy, weird redneck desert city with UFOs flying around in the air and generally weird stuff happening. I guess I play more Tropico than I actually play City Skylines. I'm just playing it in the wrong game. But yeah, I guess I play more a dictatorship generator than anything else. And now, after having said we're not flying to the same house, we're absolutely flying to the same house. We're gonna pick up the dog again. Okay, so we're landing. We're gonna pick up the dog. Now our hospital is functional, though. So if this happens again, this is not a me and a skill issue, which probably it is, but this actually would be a game issue. Time to find out. This is Lily again. Very sure about it. We can even make sure we're gonna follow Lily again. Yes, Lily is in here again. Now, what happens this time where we have a functioning hospital? I mean, wholeheartedly, this wouldn't be even a bug I'm mad about, because I think this is 10 out of 10 storytelling, that we have this UFO flying back and forth over Los Vagos, abducting dogs from the same house. So if this issue keeps persisting, then I'm not complaining. Yeah, it's one dog in particular. Yeah, exactly. Like we had, I'm not sure if you've been before here before you said hello, but we've been investigating this for like 20 minutes now, maybe. It's been the same dog like 4 times now, I think, that we've been flying back and forth between the hospital. What happens to Lily is the interesting question. We have a functional star cube block here. This should be a working hospital. Will we teleport back to the house? No. See, we actually figured this. This has been a me issue, not. The problem is that our hospital prior did not actually have a place to treat people. So we just kept flying back here, dropping them up, but then there is no hospital, so they just teleported back. Now we have the correct blocks here. They're actually getting treatment, and we have not teleported back. Interesting. We solved it. With that, we can actually go back and play the proper game. We're definitely still. This house is sketchy as heck. We're definitely still raiding this with a police raid because I don't trust these people one bit. After everything we just seen here, not a single bit. And I even think Sunny is correct. We will need a SWAT patrol as well. This I don't like much. This I think is solid. One thing I want to check real quick is where we have passes here. See, already with these, we need to be moving out of the way a bit because I want to detail this nice, but I also want to keep all of this nice and functional. So I want to make sure that we're not blocking any of the existing passes. So we have to drag these forward a bit. We're going to replace this gentleman in a moment. Let's check if this is enough. Still a little. Something like this should be enough. I would love to be able to see if this is Lily. But yeah, I guess Lily was not as accident prone as we thought she was. It was just me being bad at the video game, which should come to the surprise of nobody. But yeah, now we have an appropriate setup for this. It suddenly works wonderful. The SWAT is waiting here on the side, not right in front of everybody. And we could even add one of those SUV agent car here. This is what it's called. Here is both passes, sadly, so we can't really block it, but we can put one here. And now, obviously, we need to fill all of this with a lot of officers, and then I think that does it. No more abducting dogs in this place. Yeah, with these, we need to be a bit careful. In the past, the homeless people did not have the hoods. Since a few upgrades, we can fix this. Not a problem. Does look silly right now, but we can fix this. We can take this dark hue block and slightly move it over there, and then they shouldn't walk through the people anymore. But yeah, since an upgrade a few games ago, like half of the homeless people, I would say, are wearing a hood by default. Obviously, it's not illegal to wear a hood if you're a police officer, but probably not while you're at work. So, need to make sure that we're choosing people that don't have a hood on. Do we have any cool and fitting animations for this? Not really, I guess. Which one I was thinking about, but I guess they are not lying in the correct way. We could have some arrested people in this raid here lying in the floor while they're currently getting arrested. I'm not sure how well this is gonna work out, but we're gonna give it a try at least. It probably just looks like they're hanging around in the garden while there's a police raid happening. I don't hate it. I think that kinda works. These are the arrested people. I wish we could give them different poses, but good enough, honestly. I think kinda works. And then obviously we need a few SWAT people coming out of the SWAT truck back here. And it's 2026. Obviously the police force is not only men, so we're gonna play some female officers down as well. And yeah, now it also does not seem like the UFO keeps coming back. Now I'm gonna blame not our bad setup of the StarCube block, but surely this stopped happening because we put the police raid down here. So now these criminal dog abusers in this place are afraid and not doing their nonsense anymore. I actually think this is a cute scene. I did not plan on doing anything like this at all, but I do think this works out pretty solid. This house definitely is weird, having that truck come out of there out of nowhere, but sure, we're not gonna complain about it. Also, guys, be warned, I'm gonna turn off the night, so you guys are gonna get flashbanged in 3, 2, 1. Ouch. I always warn before because I know it's not nice, but nothing I can do to avoid it. And with all of that having fixed and having had a look at the UFOs we've been building, we can go back to actually playing the game. But I'm a big fan because, yeah, now every once in a while, if we look into the sky, we will see UFOs flying around in the sky, like here, for example. And wholeheartedly, I think that's exactly what we need more of in Los Vagos. Weird, silly interactions like this. So very happy, wholeheartedly. I did not think I would get the UFO to work as well as it actually did in the end. I thought we're just gonna build a static prop and then we're able to build a cute soon with a UFO, but it's a lot more than that. Like with a UFO actually functioning and flying around, I do think is a very cute little interaction. And if you're still here, Sunny, I'm curious if you have any. Do you have any plans with other creators as well? Because it seems like there's been, at least in some circles, some nice get-togethers planned between different creators. So I'm interested in if you decided to be part of some of these or you've been planning something yourself. Because if anybody in chat is wondering what I'm talking about, I'm sure most people are aware, but next week there is going to be a creator meetup in Sweden where Paradox has been flying out some of the partnered creators to, I don't even know what the plan is. Maybe show off something, maybe just catch up with the community, maybe talk about the game. I know nothing. I'm not a partnered creator, so I know as much as any of you guys, but I'm curious what is gonna happen. And the more I look at this, I'm actually fairly sure that we want to keep this side natural. I think this being the way it is beautiful, but then I don't think I want both sides to be as proper setup as this. I think this I want a bit more rural. One thing I definitely can realize or notice is that we do want to go in and terraform this a bit deeper. This probably is a skill issue as well, but I always struggle with these places of a bridge at the end where it hits it, because it does these were terrain kings that I do feel like are quite difficult to get rid of. Like here, for example, I cannot get rid of this. And this entire bridge has this interesting see-through bug in general. We might go ahead and properly use more of the bridges. I've not had time yet to look at these much more, but we've gotten a lot of nice bridge assets in the last few days and weeks. Most by the same person, and they all look absolutely beautiful. They are not actually bridges, so you have to set them up in game by yourself and fiddle around with it, but the assets itself look beautiful. And I don't think we are yet able to properly work with networks. I think nobody knows if the editor already can do so and we just not haven't figured out how it works properly, or if that's something that's not possible in the editor yet. Maybe Maestro actually knows more about this than I do, because you generally look into CSM a lot more. Have you seen somebody with functional custom networks in CSM already? I don't think so, right? Actually, this is starting to become a lot better. I should have done more terraforming before moving so much vegetation, because we're removing quite a lot here, but not the end of the world. We can probably even use the Gaga guardrails very nice in this place, because I do want this like on the other side to be a bit of space below the bridge where people can stop or something. I just don't want it to be as properly set up at this one. Yeah, I know Gaga is trying to get that to work, but I can tell you that Gaga is also fairly lost, and I don't think trying to reverse engineer this too much, but mainly waiting for other people to find out how he might be able to go about it. So I don't think there is actual trying on Gaga's side right now, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, obviously, that's one of the things where I think many people are trying to find out how to do that, because For something like fences, sure, it's also nice to have those as prop versions if that's the only thing we can do currently. But the moment we can actually import proper fences into this game, a lot is gonna get way nicer. Gaga asked me a very interesting question some of these days ago, and I'm not sure what the answer is. I'd be curious what you think as well, Maestro. Gaga was asking for something like the content creator packs and even all of the like actual vanilla game assets. Have they been built in the editor? Or is has Colossal Order in the past built those things by hand outside of the editor? How did they make it into the game? Because if Colossal Order built those things in the editor, then that must also mean that we already have netlane support and just don't understand how to use it. Okay, the cleanup is proper. Now what obviously we have to do is we're gonna have to go over here with another netlane, or maybe we can just decal it, but I do think the netlane is gonna look a bit cleaner than that. So let's jump in the netlanes and take the single best netlane pick that has ever been made by anybody in this game, and it's these beautiful dirty roads by Elgando that absolutely enable Los Vagos. We would not be able to do this build properly if we would not have these assets. And we will definitely have to use some decals to blend appropriate here, because we will get a bit of overlap between those net lanes, but I do think it's still better to draw them twice and then fix up with decals. This looks alright, and now we're gonna go clean this up. And the best decal we have available to clean this up nicely is this, and we always need to pay attention because there is a new version which is not great, and then there is the original and old version. That's the one we want to work with for these kind of things. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the truth. Like I actually like one of the things I learned with these Ufos is that many of the things I was incredibly scared of doing in this game, like animating light, for example, or even something like getting movement in with bones, that would have been incredibly difficult for me to ever find out if I would have to be the one reverse engineering this. It actually was very easy. Animating lights with proper help from Maestro and just somebody who already knows things about the game and can share those is not very difficult. I think a lot of people make those things to be a lot more difficult than they actually are, because they are the one that had to actually find them out by themselves. And I don't know if it makes them more hesitant to actually share those things, but luckily we have some very kind and wonderful people like Maestro in the community, and he has been absolute massive help for me with the UFO project, for example, because he did a lot of the things that I wanted to do with it already in his ECT pack. So benefiting of Maestro's research has been worth gold with this project, and I wish there'd be more people that already have done things like that would be going out and actually sharing what they do. Well, something like, for example, I have a great example which nobody will be able to follow beside you, Maestro. I think with the bones, I could have figured quite a lot of how the bones work, But then, for example, the step in the end of Bones where you scale up all of your scene elements by 100% and lower the scene scale to 0.1, I would have literally nobody would ever just think of doing that if they don't know why technically, right? So I do think that element of just look at stuff in the game and reverse engineer only works to some regard, because really some of the things in the city's asset pipeline are so weird and unintuitive that you would just not ever try that out randomly. Yes, it's so random, like goddamn. I also still don't understand why the official PDX pages on the wiki don't allow us to actually add things on there. Again, I've said it in my Discord as well. I get that they want the last say and control over it. I totally get it. If they say you guys can't add stuff without us verifying it and then accepting it on the wiki. But I don't think the wiki is going to be very successful if there is no possibility for the community to add onto it. I mean, that's pretty much the entire principle of a wiki is that it's community built and people are able to add onto it. So I don't really get why their choice is not opening it up. I don't know either. I also don't think it's like worth it to blame anybody. Like I think Peanut obviously is trying to do a good job with the wiki, even if maybe in some of the things I don't agree with him, but then no bad blood about anything. He also is only the poor guy who has to do the documentation. I don't think doing the wiki is super fun either. In some regard, I do think he actually kind of hurts himself because I think if the wiki would be more open to the community, then he would probably have to do less of the annoying wiki work because people would be more motivated to also add onto it and correct some things. I've never really talked to him much, so I cannot comment on that too much. But yeah, I'm also not very happy with the situation currently. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I say I'm not happy with the situation currently, I actually think the game is doing great. I'm a bit annoyed because I have definitely lost some FPS. I'm not unhappy with anything. And some of the very weird things with my FPS that I also always notice is it makes quite a difference for me how long my game has been running. My game definitely gets more stable the longer my simulation has been running. So in the first few minutes of opening the game, my frames are really lackluster and then they stay lackluster, but it gets a bit better in the duration of my game being open. And definitely what you said as well, Gaga. If I zoom out very far, my FPS get really good and it's no problem. But if I zoom in like medium distance over something like Los Vagos, then yeah, my frames definitely have gotten worse than a few upgrades ago. And I do think this actually is starting to be pretty much what I want. We want to blend these rocks here a little so it doesn't end as abrupt, but we fade this out a bit more smoothly. But otherwise, I think we can dive in and vegetation this up a little and then We should be happy with this. And this is actually really gonna help our traffic. Because yes, now no matter if we have somebody who's waiting here to do the right turn in here, they don't block all of the incoming traffic into Los Vagos anymore like they did in the past. And this has been one of the places that really has been causing traffic issues in the past. And here, I would actually love, but I don't know how we do that the best. I would love to build a scene of a broken down vehicle. We can give it a shot in a moment. I'm not sure if we managed too well, but I want to try at least. And I'm very happy how well this new custom vegetation we've been getting from Pedlemo. I never know if I pronounce the name correctly, but I'm trying. I'm so happy how well this works together with the vanilla vegetation we already have. For a moment, I was a bit worried that we have to go back in many places and like redo vegetation, but I don't think so at all. I think it actually looks quite nice to just add these into places. And then, yeah, sure, the newer made vegetation places look a bit nicer and more interesting. But it does work very well together with everything we already have in the game as well. And I've been hearing the name Mr. Maison a lot lately, and I know that he's one of the vegetation superstars from CS1. Has there been any news about him still being involved with cities, or is that a thing of the past? Because especially lately, I've been hearing his name a lot and been wondering if maybe we can get some second person hard carrying vegetation. Because currently it's pretty much just Pedlemo making vegetation. Alright, I think this is a solid start. Some of the long grass. And then I think this actually looks great. And it forced us, like actually doing some road work here, forced us to properly fix up this bridge as well. Because again, we did this side of the bridge very nicely a long time ago, but then we never actually revisit on the other side, so it looked a bit incomplete. So I'm happy that we had to revisit this. These small flowers here, they are so cute. I absolutely adore them. And especially Gaga, I'm not sure if you notice, but I'm sure you notice because it's your pack. I think these yellow wildflowers, they look especially cute together with your flower surfaces. Because these yellow ones, especially the ones where it's a bit less regular, I think they are very close in tone to the yellow flower. So placing the yellow flower and then actually going around the area with your surface, I think adds a very nice mix because now you do get the very nice effects of your flower, but then these give it some more three-dimensionality. And I think together it looks really nice. Like this is a great place to show it in, for example. And welcome in, Const. Nice to see you, cutie here. Oh, you have not tried those yet. Yeah, then Gaga, look at this. I really think these together with your surfaces work so well. Because your surfaces otherwise they can seem a bit too flat if you just place them blank. But then if you would mix both of them, you would actually get a real nice look, I think. Yeah, you have to be careful. I did not tell Gaga what happened the last time I was streaming, which in all fairness, I've been streaming very little lately. It's like nearly 2 weeks ago. But cons might have done something in the last stream that Gaga would not appreciate. I'm only gonna say as much because I'm not a snitch. I'm totally a snitch. I'm gonna point it out in a moment, Gaga. You will see, and then you can take revenge. Because you guys know people say snitches get stitches, but then the good news is none of you has my address or knows my name or know where I live. So good luck giving me stitches. I can snitch as much as I want. Yeah, I don't know how we would get this to actually look like it's broken down appropriately with the tools we have right now. I think we're just gonna place it there. What buzz? What am I hearing about? Have you made an asset specifically for the next const episode? If so, I will need to see screenshots. All right, color this one, and then I do think I am very much happy with what we did here. I think this looks very cute. One of the things I need to look in a bit more in future is if maybe we want to replace this bridge with something more fancy. But to be honest, I don't think so. I think for a bare bone rural bridge like this, going over a shitty dirt road, this is very much appropriate. So I don't think we need to make this any bigger. And because there is an ad break happening in 10 seconds, and I've not had a break yet today, I will send you guys for the very first time ever while I'm gonna drink something on a nice UFO ride. This is the ambulance UFO. Where's the police one? Because I think the police one probably is more interesting while I'm AFK. But also I don't see it and I want to take a break while there is the ad break running. So I'm gonna send you guys to fly around with this UFO a bit over Los Vagos while I'm away. I'm gonna save the game real quick because these helicopter flyovers are a bit critical on my very weak computer. So maybe I come back from the ad break and we're looking at the desktop instead. I hope that's not the case, and I will BRB when the ad break is over in a few minutes. And in the meanwhile, I hope you guys enjoy the newest addition to our game and enjoy the UFO flyover. I'll be back in 3 minutes roughly. See you soon, cuties. Oh, hold on. Before I say that, we actually need to follow this properly. How did I mess that up? Okay, zoom on. And now off we go. Be right back, cuties. Bye bye.
I wish we had a cactus.
I'm back already, and I'm an absolute amateur. I didn't even add the BRB scene, but now I'm back, so I guess no need to add the BRB scene anymore. But obviously, that's something I should have done. Yeah, and this what you're seeing right now, it's unavoidable. The vanilla Ufos or the vanilla helicopters do that as well. I put a lot of effort in reducing it as far as possible. But yes, in very dense high-rise areas, sadly, it will sometimes clip into the buildings a little. It happens very rarely nowadays. I've been looking at this a lot yesterday, but it does happen sometimes. It only happens with the ambulance helicopter, though. In general, I do like quite a lot because I think this is the more boring UFO compared to the other one. This does not see as much usage. I'm glad it actually did fly while I was AFK and you guys didn't just look at the helipad. Maybe you guys looked at the helipad for a while. But the other one is a lot more active over the city. The only problem is I couldn't find that quick enough before the outbreak started. So this is why I sent you around with this one. Otherwise, I think the other one is a lot more fitted for these kind of flyovers. Nah, I'm not surprised. Again, is a bit this one because it is an ambulance, right? So this one quite literally only flies when there is a sick person that needs a pickup. So otherwise, it will mainly just sit at the station, which while you're following it might not be that interesting. I actually quite like it because I don't want this to be a crazy space build where there is UFOs in the air all the time. I want this to be a bit more like a cute little Easter egg that happens every once in a while if you want it to. So I'm not sad about this sitting here quite a bit. But again, for the follow along rides, I guess the other one's a lot more suited. Is there a way for me how to find it easily? Yes, okay. I did not know this is a thing. But yes, I guess I can just click on the station where it comes from and then jump to it, and then we can actually find it and follow it quite nicely. This one is a bit less interesting in regards of what it does, because it's quite literally just patrolling. But I think for the flyovers, this is exactly what we need, because this one does not spend much time at the helipad at all. This one is generally just randomly patrolling the city and flying around over stuff. And it actually brings us in a very good direction because we just finished detailing out the bridge as far as I feel like detailing it out already. And I need an opinion by or from you guys. I suck at building any railroad related stuff, right? And I do want to fix up our railroad a lot better than it is right now. Right now we have a very shitty rail depot. Is this area here, obviously we would flatten this out slightly, is this enough area for us to build a very rural, small, shitty rail depot in? I would build a proper big one somewhere else in the map, closer to that big city over here that eventually we want to start. But for the meanwhile, I would like to build our way further through the canyon and replace all of these shitty farms here that I think look horrible, and finally go ahead and build a proper jail where I can jail naughty people like you guys in Los Vagos. And one of the things that I think would be fairly fitting here is a rail depot. I am not sure if the space is too little or if we can get away with it. I actually think we can probably get away with it if we angle this a bit and then build a rail section pretty much here next to it. Yes, obviously, this is not built outright. Like, this is not even connected to a road currently. It was just me blocking a spot down that I could imagine is fitting. Because if we think this might be fitting, this actually is something where maybe we're gonna dive in today. Because today I will not be able to stream very long. In general, I've been streaming very little lately, but I know it's hard to believe. I will stream tomorrow again. So after I've not streamed for 2 weeks, I will properly stream 2 days in a row and we'll be back tomorrow, but we could already start working out this area a little better, and then properly dive in tomorrow and build this into a nice rail depot over here. Because the more I look at it, I do think this is a nice spot. It's a bit tight, but then you guys know I in general like to compress things fairly harshly in Los Vagos. So I do think it's fairly appropriate. One of the things we would have to figure first before we work this out is how we bring the road across here. Because obviously we both need a road to go up here to the jail, as well as we need a road to actually connect up this area here. So I think the first thing we're gonna do, and is funny, because really I do very little road work on stream generally. We're gonna keep on doing road work today, which does not happen too often. First things first is we need to clean up this entire area a bit. This is way too bumpy and not beautiful. We're gonna start out without manipulation mode, but I'm pretty certain that we will need some manipulation mode here as well. I see these all behave kinda weird is gonna get even worse, but that one needs to be a bit higher. And now we're gonna smoothen this out a little. Really, this is the problematic node mainly. And I've been talking to Konzi a bit today, and Konzi actually been very nice and insightful with me. Because I think most of you guys are aware that vehicle controller, at least currently, does not work 100%. And I did ask for something even more specific, because for the Ufos, I would really like to be able to choose the heli variation for a station. It's not much of a problem. You can just replop the station till you get the correct heli. But currently, you're not able to choose any helicopters with vehicle controller. I did ask him about it carefully, and he said that should not be too difficult to reintegrate. He did not give me any timeline, especially since he's also in Sweden, like many people next week. But in the future, that is something that we're gonna get back to actually be able to choose helis as well, and then the UFO pack is gonna get even nicer. Yeah, I mean, as you can very easily tell, I'm not a fan of bridging over railroads because I think it's not very logical, especially in areas as rural as this. Pretty much all of our rail crossings are like this one, like just have a normal over the street rail crossing. I know people like to be efficient and have the best kind of traffic, but then I very much am the opposite. I like traffic and I just care about it looking cute, and I do think these rail crossings are absolutely beautiful and cute. So yes, certainly we will not build a bridge, but just cross over the rail normally. Especially in rural contexts like this, I think a bridge is really out of place. I know people always get annoyed with me when I delete those rocks one by one and not use a brush, but the brushes are so
I
inaccurate,
wish
and I
we had
do
a
want
cactus.
to keep all of the rocks outside of the road. So you guys can complain as much as you want. I will keep deleting my rocks one by one anyways. And I very much would also wish we had a cactus, but Gaga, you know what? Quite a few of the people who are going to Sweden next week, I at least am on good terms with. And you can be sure that I told every single of these persons that I need them to come back with some news about the cactus. So I've been trying my hardest to leverage the little influence I have in the community to hopefully come back next week and bring us some nice news about the cactus DLC. I very much doubt this having any success, but who knows? I can at least try to be hopeful about it. And let's sketch this out. These roads are gonna look horrible, and we're gonna redraw all of this cleaner in a moment. I just wanna have a better idea of the space, because we definitely need one road to go up here, bring us up the mountain, maybe even a bit less central, so we have more space to go around it with stuff. And then obviously we need to cross the rail here. And as always in Los Vagos, I do like to split these across to have those kind of triangular T-junctions to the main road. Something like this. Again, these roads, we're going to redraw those cleaner in a moment. I just need to understand the spacing of this area a bit better. Because one thing I can tell right away, I don't like the spacing of this. I want this to go out sooner here, because I want to preserve as much space here as we can to bring out the rails a bit earlier. So the further we get over to this side, the better it is for us. So as I just said, we're going to redraw pretty much all of this. I just need to understand what I want to do here. And what we just did is definitely not what we want to do here. Oh, also, Maestro, I can now show you what I was talking about earlier when I was asking about the trains. This is a good example. I think this is a beautiful train, right? Like actually one of the better models that we have in game currently. I think very beautiful. If we go and pick this one, it's very obvious to see that in these models we have versions without the, you told me how this is called earlier, pantograph. I think this is pantograph. Yep, it has actually, it's using the vanilla shader for the glass. I also find that a little questionable. In fact, maybe they fix it by now, but you can, yeah, you can, if you look close, you can look through the train. It does not have a double bottom, so maybe if you copy that for your S-Bahn, don't do this. But otherwise, I do think this really is a beautiful model. And it does have these versions without, oops, here we are, without the phantographs, right? Like these are all bare without any of them. And then it has a ones with as well. And I don't know where the wagons of these are, but you guys get a gist. Yeah, see, these are all without electricity. But I cannot choose that version in the rail line, because if we look at this and we have train line 2, all of these versions of all of these beautiful trains here that I added to our game, all of these are only variations with a pantograph. And it's sad because they have versions without a pantograph, like this one as well, beautiful train. It has a version with a pantograph, but then the versions I have available to choose from in my line are only always without. Yeah, probably you're right. I was not sure about it, because the truth is, while most of my rails here are without electricity, the ugly and horrible part of Los Vagos that we don't talk about, and all of this horrible garbage down here, there is parts of our rail here, for example, that has electricity. And I figured maybe part of the reason of this being not great is that we have not set it up properly. I'm not certain about it. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Because yes, I would love to use that train without a pantograph and not what we have right now. And thanks a lot for the follow. Steps rule. I hope I don't butcher up your name too much, but I'm trying. I'm trying. But yes, appreciate it for the follow and welcome in. We are building a weird desert redneck paradise for a long, long time already, and we'll keep doing so. Today, probably not the most interesting thing because we're just laying out a new area that we want to get forward into. All of this still looks horrible and shouldn't be looked at too many or too much, but we're trying to make it less horrible in future. So hopefully this is gonna start being a little nicer. Yeah, no, but you just seen it, Gaga. He included a version without electricity, like right here. This has no electricity. He added versions with and without, right? This clearly is a version entirely without, and then this is the version with. And I cannot imagine that he sat down and spent a lot of time to include both versions and then just forgot on giving us the possibility to use the one without. Because yeah, I do get it. Like for example, I think that's what Bad Peanut did, and I get that. I respect that. Bad Peanut, for his A train he did not include a version without electricity, cause it's a train that works with electricity in real life. But then this guy has clearly put effort into building a version that is specifically without it. So I cannot imagine that it's on purpose that we cannot choose that one. Maybe it is, but I wholeheartedly would be surprised about it. That's a lot better. It's also nice because we're respecting this topography here and we can actually detail out this small hill a bit more appropriate. And then we need to stay close here, as close as we can to go around here. I actually think this is probably a tad too angled. I suck at roads. You guys probably look at this and are like, oh my god, this all looks like he's never played the game before. I'm just not great at this video game, guys. Don't judge. This is kinda what we want. Gonna have to see if this crossing works out. It is a fairly steep one, so maybe it's gonna be a bit problematic. But generally, this kinda is what we want. This curve here is horrible, and we'll have to redraw that. This part here, I actually think is fairly appropriate. If we do this and then bring it out here. It's a bit too sharp. I'm gonna redraw this in a moment. I want to work out this side first. Yes, that guy also. That's exactly why I'm so confused, because that guy clearly also has the possibility to give us the unelectrified version, because he built all of the assets for it. He also has all kind of different parts, right? Where part of it is with and part of it is without. But then Again, he probably just forgot to add that option to being choosable as well. I don't know how technically that works. You probably know because you're working on a train. But I don't know if that's something you actually have to define when you make that asset, that you tell the game which ones are usable and which ones aren't. I have no clue about that. Yeah, and this is just a pre-clean up. We will need to go into move it and actually make this a lot less junk than it is. Why did this node decide to have to be so high? Yeah, don't worry, Gaga. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Don't worry, you're not missing too much. I
Bye,
will
have a
have
great
to head
day.
to bed sometime soon as well. But as I said, for once, even though I stream very little lately, I will most likely be streaming tomorrow again. So it's not a goodbye for long, but yes, thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful good night, cutie. Okay, do we hate this? I don't yet like it. This is a problem with me and roads. I never like the curves. This part here is fine. This side, up until here, I don't like this curve. This does not look smooth, so we'll have to redraw this a bit better. And I also don't like this part, so we are gonna go in and firstly yeet that one out and then try if we can get this one in a bit smoother. Oh yeah, actually, I wanted to snitch on you cons, but since I have two brain cells and I get sidetracked all the time while playing, I actually forgot to snitch on you, which I'm sure you're sad about. But yes, I think you're safe from Gaga now, so time to steal. You guys gonna have to watch me redraw this multiple times. I'm not great at roads. I never like what I'm doing. So we will have to redraw that multiple times. But I actually think the reason why I struggled so hard is because I forgot to turn off the zone snapping, which was messing with all of our snaps. So I think probably now this should be a tad easier. I don't like how either it's too sharp or it's too soft. Maybe I think I actually want to draw this from this side to get this corner smoother. This is good. I actually like this. This obviously is the level is not good. We need to go in there with manipulation mode, but the curve itself finally looks appropriate. Oh, see? Gaga's still here to see what you're up to, Const. So me and Cons, Gaga, we were not talking about anything. Go to bed already. Nothing is happening. Don't you worry. Now the question is, can we manage to fix these without looking horrible? And I think we can. That looks alright. We have a very little kink in here, but it's fine. We can work that out with vegetation and props. The rest of this looks nice-ish, at least. Not optimal, and now it's time to fix up the other side of the rail, and then you guys can watch me delete some more rocks, I guess. And yes, whenever you're ready to steal stuff, maybe wait 5 more minutes so Gaga surely has actually left, and then go ahead and steal all of his districts. Why do we get a bit of a kink? Oh, it's not even a kink. It's just, obviously, we can fix that right away, because this side, I think we're happy with. Remove all of these, and then we don't want that connection. And here, unsafe, no U-turns. That looks fine. All right. This actually looks fairly smooth. Obviously, no vegetation or anything, but I think we're fine with this. This connection here is not perfect yet, but first we're gonna worry about this side, because this side I hate a lot more than the other one. It's a bit sad that we cannot, but I don't have space to go closer. I would like to have more space to go out with the rails even earlier here, but I cannot really go closer. Maybe a very little, since we're redrawing that anyways. So I'm gonna go in here and actually cut this here already, and then we delete everything behind there and try to bring this over a bit smoother. Should I try to draw this side first and then connect over there? I do think that's probably the better idea. And we're gonna bring the curve a lot wider than I initially thought, so we can be more sharp and close down here. Here we have enough space, we don't mind very much. This is where I want to be as space efficient as possible. So yeah, I do think this is probably the right way to actually bring this quite a bit further. This might have been too far even, but let's see. See, me and roadwork is just a tragedy. I just can't do this properly. Which is funny, because then people always tell me I'm a great player at this game. Wholeheartedly, just watch my stream and you know I'm not. Am I the only one doing this? Cons, I'm curious, if you build roads, because I know you built a lot of roads in your saves, does this look as horrible and incompetent as what I'm doing here at the moment? Most properly not, I would guess. Actually, I don't want this to snap yet. That should match up pretty well. Yes. Okay, this gotten a lot better. I am not entirely happy with this kink here, but this is solid enough for now. I can correct a bit more. I really only want to work out this area a bit better. Okay, I like to hear that, because yeah, again, like I could keep doing this forever. I still don't like this place here. I don't think this is too smooth, and I think this needs to be a bit smoother as well. But I do think this is now fairly easy to clean up in a way where I like it. This curve at least is pretty solid. And now we have what I wanted to, because yes, this is the space we need here for the road. Now comes the more interesting part, and it's the rails. And I want to go ahead and bring some of these out already. Oh yeah, here. Actually, this worked. I've not tried this yet, but yes, my Ufos are in here. What I do see is that I have the same UI value of this, so I think I'll move the values slightly. So these are not overlapping, but all at the very end. And then we want the unelectrified rails. And after I just said I'm horrible with road work, I'm just as horrible with rail work, so I'm sure this is not gonna be much less painful. We're gonna try our best here. Bring this out fairly close to the road. Oh, I keep wondering why I don't draw a curve, but because I'm not in curve tool, that totally is a skill issue as most of the times. Something like this, because yes, we also need enough space to go with a road out here and go behind all of this depot, because this has a road connection on the back, which I quite like, because we can work out this back area here a bit. But we need to leave a bit of space here for the road to go across, so I think this is pretty optimal. Now the question is if we will have to terraform here a bit. I'm gonna eat those out real quick for now. Gonna replace these for a moment. I wanna put these as far down there as possible. So we have enough space with a rail to actually build these out kinda cute. Just flattening this a very little. I don't wanna fully terraform this yet. But I want this to be flat enough to get a better idea of how far down there we can go and where we can put the rails. Because this here is so flat that I'm actually tempted to not fully respect the terrain and actually go in here a bit deeper. I think it's actually quite nice because we will have to bring a road back here anyways. And if we bring this a bit deeper, we actually have enough space to even build out some of these hilly regions here with a normal rural residential places. So I think widening this up, while I generally like respecting terrain, here actually makes this area more interesting than if we stay too true to the terrain. That should be nearly good enough already. And Cons, I'm very curious, because probably not at all, but you with your Omega GPU, have you noticed any performance differences in the class patches? Is your game running just as good as it's been in the past? Because if so, I'm jealous of you. My game has definitely gotten a lot worse. Performance-wise, otherwise I think it's gotten a lot better, but purely performance-wise, I have not won lately. Okay, yeah, it does make sense, because it does seem to me like this is definitely my graphics card struggling, because if we have a look at some dense area in our city, god damn it, my frames. My frames are exactly identical. I can speed up my simulation. My frames don't change the slightest, which I guess is because our CPU is kind of falling asleep while playing, but my GPU is dying while playing, so yeah, there is literally no FPS difference at all between ×1 and ×4 for me. But I don't hit stable 30 FPS anymore, which I used to struggle to hit 30 FPS, but we always manage to hit 30 FPS. Sadly, that time is over. No more 30 FPS gaming for us. Yeah, but I also cannot use a new UI yet, because same issue, the icons overlap. I'm sure, as with everything, it's just a question of time. I guess probably we have to be prepared for a bit more or a bit less fundamental game updates for a while now, because yeah, many of the relevant people are gonna be flown out to Sweden by PDX, so probably gonna be a bit. The more I look at this, we have to bring this road even closer. I'm not happy with the road. I think we're actually gonna bring the road. Would even think about bringing it through here to gain more place, but I want to draw the rails in first, because I think rail needs priority here, and we can work with a road around it. The more I look at this, because we have this space, I want this to be a kinda big area. So I want to go out as soon as we can here behind this curve, and not as sharp. Something like this is where I'd like to go out. And then we have to see if we go with a road around here, or if we actually even go here, but we could totally fine go out here and then go around there. Yeah, I mean, the boats, I'm a bit torn, right? Because we have so little assets that kinda any variation is welcome, but it's at such a bad start for custom assets if people upload 3 bombs like that. Especially, I think Few Candy wrote back on it after all, but I was a bit shocked because I'm sure most of you people have seen that Few Candy is now doing the build of the week again. That I believe you guys had that in CS1 already. Again, I've not played much CS1, so I'm not too sure. But she included the boats, which I understand. Not everybody can always be too on top of what works well and what is a bit problematic. But yeah, especially the official CS2 channel should not recommend an asset like that.
That's cute.
I wish we had a cactus.
No, Jelly, no sound spam, you evil motherfucker. Are you looking forward to meeting all of the people? When is it so far? Jelly, I need to. I showed this to many people
I
today
wish we
already,
had a
but
cactus.
I done something, and I hope
That's
you find
cute.
it as cool as I do. Because Jelly, have a look. I made a new asset that actually is working and currently in the game already. Let's have a look. Where is our cutie? If you don't think this is cool, then I don't know what is up with you, and you seem to be lost in life. We now have a new Ufo in our city. So, well, actually, we have 2 different UFOs. We have this one and another one, and I love it. They are flying over our city. We can literally, when there is an ad break, I can now just sit you guys in the UFO, and you guys can fly around. And I'm wholeheartedly proud of this one. I did not plan on making a UFO. I just wanted to find out how to animate lights. But for this is perfectly fine. I mean, sure, of course, delete your own messages if it makes you happy. Oh, and I actually must have overread what Cons is responding to Maestro, because I did not see that. But yeah, nice, Jelly. Have fun with Muzi tomorrow. I hope you're gonna do something nice. Oh, really? Wasn't it? I don't know. I'm not even moderating my own channel, so I shouldn't be asked. And now let's have a look, because the other one, while it flies a bit less often, I think this one is even more exciting because it does something. So let's have a look at where our other spaceship is. is coming back to the base, or is nearly here. But see, this is the other spaceship we have, and both of them are flying around the map. The smaller one is a police helicopter, so it's kind of just patrolling every once in a while. But this is an ambulance helicopter, so this one actually picks up people or dogs. We had this. You, as a dog lover, would have not liked this. We had this UFO abduct many dogs today earlier. And let me scroll back up real quick to see what Maestro was saying, what I overread. Yeah, I agree. I also don't understand why that person decided to not make them a working prop. Because out of everything, that is like the least amount of work, like just applying a prefab to an asset you made is very quick and easy. So I also don't understand it. I mean, I don't think here comes a tough one. I don't think it's generally wrong to take a model of Sketchfab. I personally enjoy more doing my own models and properly learning Blender, so I'm probably not gonna do that. But yes, there is some very good and high quality models on Sketchfab that are perfectly acceptable for CS2. Yes, you will need to adjust them and you will have to put some work into them, but I don't think it's generally a no-go to do those things. I just think it's a bit problematic if it's not done well, and especially the things we see so far are generally not done well. I've said this early on stream, I cannot fix this. This is sadly something the vanilla helicopter does the same. They do clip into the big buildings. It's not problematic in smaller buildings, and I've set everything up in a way where this does not happen very often, but sadly, every once in a while, if there is not enough open space around a building where they pick up somebody, it will clip into them slightly. Yes, of course. I very much agree. Like, you should not just take a model from Sketchfab and integrate it. I do, in general, think it's a bit of a misconception by many people who want to get into making assets and port things into the game. I think many people have that weird idea that it's easier to port something into the game than to make your own model and bring that into the game. I would argue the exact opposite. I would argue if you make your own model, you do need to learn everything appropriately and you're able to set it up cleanly due to doing that. I would argue if you just take a model that's already available, it's way more important that you already are good at Blender because you will have to fix things and you will have to optimize things and you will have to clean up the model, which all is things you are not able to do if you cannot do your own model, right? So I think it's not a great idea that especially people who don't know much about Blender think is a good idea to take stuff off Sketchfab, because the truth is, if you're good at Blender, I don't think there is any problem with taking stuff off of Sketchfab, because you know how to clean those up, you know how to make a proper performant Cities 2 fitting model for that. But for for people who are new to it, I think that's actually bad advice. Oh, really? I didn't see that. I'm not gonna say I enjoy drama, so I absolutely need to watch that, but I will watch the Imperatu video after ending stream, which I will have to do soon. So that's gonna be my good night video today. So thanks for that drama recommendation. I like drama if I'm not involved in it. Imperator is one of the biggest and most successful cities YouTubers who builds amazing. Like as much as I'm not always loving the builds of most people, is a very good, amazing builder who I think does quite a bit less cities content and does a lot more generic infrastructure things now. Like he does a lot of interesting and very well made videos. I was surprised because he was just a cities YouTuber. I shouldn't say it like that, but he makes very well made and interesting infrastructure videos about things now. And he has a very big following. Like as much as Moose is a big creator, I think, for example, Imperator is quite a bit bigger than that. And it is a bit weird, I also have to admit, like I obviously should not be one of the people going to Sweden right now, but I also am sometimes a bit confused on why some people are this close to the game while others aren't. I, for example, was quite happy to hear that Skills Built also gotten invited, who I think is an absolutely amazing creator who generally is, I would say, a bit further away from most of the like very involved parts of the community, but has a gigantic following on YouTube, so absolutely deserves to go. And yeah, they did invite him. Sorry, this is fiddly to get these two actually line up properly, especially for somebody. We have another if this is Lily, I'm gonna get crazy because we had a single dog get abducted over and over today, and that dog was called Lily. Why can I not click you? Cutie. Why can I not select this dog? Yeah, I cannot not select this dog. But yes, I get why there is some people in the community who feel a bit illusioned about seeing that there is creators who basically don't even play the game since CS1 days anymore being invited while they are very involved and pillars of the community but kind of get forgotten about. So I understand for somebody like Imperator, for example, to be a bit salty. Yeah, don't worry. I'm about to hit the bed as well, getting late here. But have a nice night and have fun with Muzi tomorrow. And hope you two cuties are having a good time and sleep tight. Obviously, you will force Moose to bring back news of a Cactus DLC, right? Because everything else would be shameful and irresponsible of you. Yeah, I also was very happy about Picana. I also was, I think for me, the biggest one actually is that StarQ was invited, because I just think StarQ is one of the people that are the most fundamental for the game's well doing at the moment. So sadly, he cannot go for personal reasons, but he did get invited. That's all I care about. If people in the end can go or not is not something PDX has any control over, obviously. But that that StarQ got invited, I think sends a very good sign. And I agree, Picana also absolutely deserves it, and Yang Yang, but I don't know, is a bit. It seems a bit weird to me from the outside sometimes in who goes and who doesn't. And yes, Imperator is probably bigger than Picana, Skills Build, and three others combined. So him being a bit salty about it is totally understandable. I did not know. Again, I like cities drama, so appreciate it for informing me. I'm gonna check out. Stockholm is a place you will be going to this week as well. And welcome in, Mr. Cutie Cuboid. Also, Cuboid, I told everybody who I know who's going to Stockholm, and I'm gonna tell you as well, please come back and bring me good news about the Cactus DLC. Else I'm gonna think all of this has been a waste of money and not worth it. If you guys all come back with news about the Cactus DLCs, I think that's the best thing that ever happened. Yeah, maybe. I also was wondering about that a bit, because in all fairness, yes, you're right. Like, Imprimatur kinda, by his own choice, shifted away off of more cities content. So I guess it does make sense that they also think he's a bit less relevant now. And are you excited about? I mean, I get that, to be honest. I have not seen the video, so I cannot comment on it. I don't know if it was cheap shots or not. I know as much as what Cons told me in chat. So again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I have not even seen the video yet to properly comment on it. And I agree, cheap shots is never acceptable. So if that is what's happening in that video, then I think that is very reasonable. If that's not a reason, I don't know. Again, I've not seen it yet. Why is this one so low? That shouldn't be so low. Have you seen the video yourself, Cuboid? I'm a tad confused. Why is this one note here sitting so low? Because I would actually like to line these up. Okay, you just did. I and what is your perception of it? You actually think it's a cheap shot? Because yeah, especially to other creators, I think that's also not only a cheap shot, but that's unreasonable. Because nobody is at fault for getting invited, and obviously nobody should be in a position to feel guilty about it or feeling like they have to say sorry. If you get invited, that's great for you, and you should take part in it. I do understand if he would be salty towards PDX himself, I guess. But if it's against other creators, then yeah, very much incorrect. Oh, so he actually calls out specific people. I did also not. Again, I've not watched the video yet. I thought he just complained about him not being invited. And again, that I can understand. But yeah, if it's pointing out other people and being rude, then I think that's totally not okay. Yeah, that is not great. Honestly, I'm very much looking forward to watching the video, and then afterwards I can give a more appropriate opinion to it. Right now, I don't know anything. But yeah, I think that's a weird take because again, like no creator is at fault for getting invited to anything, and especially Moose is the weird if he specifically gets pointed out because I do think Moose has been very constant in supporting Cities Skylines, even though as much as I love him, he sometimes gets a bit tilted about the game he has always been into the game, and for years now, long before I even know cities existed, been a big advocate. Yeah, I mean, tiny creators from Canada is yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna say he might as well mean Poplar, because I think Poplar also is going, and in comparison to Moose is a lot smaller. But then again, I in general find it very weird to point out a creator, because what is it any creator's fault that PDX invites them to their event? Sure, be annoyed at PDX and complain about that, but then complaining about any creator in specific is very silly to me. Still not sure how I make this space use the most efficient, because I definitely, this has a nice upgrade, this one, the extra tormage. I definitely want to use this one as well. The question is which way around. We could actually also move the rail. Please stop snapping to everything. We could even think about moving the rails to this side and moving the building to this side. I actually think that probably is more appropriate. Yeah, again, in something like this, I do think, like, yes, you can obviously be frustrated and tilted, but you can never target specific persons for something like that. That just seems very much incorrect and deserves to get on the shit list, honestly. And I mean, I myself can get tilted at cities a lot. Like, I've been ranting about things wrong in cities a lot as well. But I would never say that any dev does not want to make the best game they can, really. That always has been a delusional opinion to me. Obviously, any company wants to make the best product they can. Sure, sometimes I disagree with their take on something, but yeah, I think that kind of blamey attitude is never gonna help anybody. I mean, you in general, Cuboid, I'm maybe it's an ad break right now. I'm not sure. Maybe I should wait for the ad break. But I would gladly ask you a few things if that's okay with you, Cuboid. You're a hero, okay. All right. Then I'm not gonna say anything. I am very curious because I in general think you always been fairly positive about PDX as a company. And I think you're also been one of the few people who've been fairly positive about the Ice Flakes takeover, where I think I also was very positive in that. Like, I'm sorry for Colossal Order, because I'm sure it's a bit of a harsh one for them, but I never understood it as PDX deciding cities is less relevant. I always understood it as the exact opposite. Like, if you look at the PDX brand mission, they quite literally say over 5 years ago already that they care about integrating more of their successful games in their core studio and make them a bigger part of Paradox. So I always understood this as a them committing to cities, them recognizing how important the title is for them and trying to make it part of their own ecosystem, which wholeheartedly, I think is a great sign, because that shows they do care and want to keep this game alive for a long, long time. Is that something you would agree with as a take? Because obviously I'm still so new to the community, right? I cannot comment much on Colossal Order, for example, because I only played the game for like a year while they were the developers. So I wish them the best, but I don't have any like big binding to them.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
Heck yeah! Welcome in, Dava and Raiders. Nice to see you, cuties. I hope you had a wonderful stream and fun playing cities today. I will have to show off something cool. I built something that I think is very Los Vagos appropriate that I've been showing a bit today already. I don't think it's an asset that people are too interested in outside of my weird redneck deserty shithole we're playing in. But Dava, have a look. The two things we built. I'm curious how silly you find this, or if you actually appreciate this. I might or might not have, whoopsala, we lost it, built functional Ufos in our game. So we now have this thing, for example, which lurks as a police helicopter, and it flies around over the map. I made a different one as well that works as an ambulance helicopter and actually flies down over people and they disappear. Is pretty 10 out of 10. I managed to actually learn how to spin things in the game. I managed, if I zoom in closer, you guys can see it. I managed to learn how to animate the lights. So this thing is now blinking while flying around. I love it. It's so silly. It's so Los Vagos fitting that I've been having an absolute blast building these. I mainly built these because I wanted to learn how to animate stuff and work with things like this. But the nice side effect is that now we have randomly have some UFOs flying over the city. This is one of the UFOs. We have a second one. I can jump over and see where the second one is. Should spawn here. It is currently picking somebody up, else we would not have to search it. Let's have a look. Should it not show us the vehicles? We already selected it like that earlier. Why don't I see the... Here, I see the medical helicopter. Why can I not jump to it? Hold on. Maybe if we take these... I guess in the Star Cube... Oh, it is at home, actually. That's why it sent us here. But this is the second one. And again, this one does not fly very often, so we might have to wait a moment. Because it is an ambulance, so it's actually waiting for somebody to fall sick in the city. So maybe we have to wait a moment for it to take up, but as soon as there is a sick person somewhere in the city, we'll have a ride with that. Meanwhile, I'm gonna catch up on the chat real quick. And as always, Davos, thanks so much for the raid and welcome in, Raiders. Oh, there we go. We're starting. We're gonna go pick up somebody. I mean, this one I'm actually so happy about because it worked fairly well. It's a bit buggy with higher buildings, so this might be a bit of a buggy experience. I'm not gonna lie about the shortcomings of stuff I made. It is a bit more critical, the ambulance one especially, in high-rise areas, because it does sometimes cause a bit of issues with the higher buildings. But in all fairness to myself, the vanilla helicopters do the same, so that's not something I can correct all the way. I try my best to set up everything in a way where it happens as rarely as possible, but is not entirely avoidable, sadly. But yes, I'm a big fan. I think these turned out really cool. I think like they have like blinking lights and everything. A lot of the lights are animated, which I guess I should turn on night mode because it's a bit more visible during the night. Yeah, sadly, this is one of the pickups that's a bit buggy because, yes, with these, the vanilla helicopters do the same. They do fly too close to the building, sadly. If it's in a more rural context, they are less problematic. I don't care. There is so much junk in this game and in my city especially that even with a slightly buggy behavior, I think this is 10 out of 10 and I'm very happy how well this worked out because especially during the night, I think these just look beautiful. Maybe it's a bit, maybe I should make it a tad stronger looking at it because this light out here should also be pulsating slightly. I animated that light a bit. And looking at it in game, I think it's a tad too weak. I think it's hard to see the pulsating in it. So I might have to turn that up a notch. I'm gonna release this when I'm done testing with these a bit more, but for now I just wanna see how problematic they are and how well they work. They seem generally pretty fine, so I'm satisfied, but well, this is the ambulance UFO actually. The other one, hold on, we can the police one is the one we had a look at before. It's from this. This is the police one, but yes, this is our two UFOs that now fly around over our city, and I do think is actually hilarious and looks really cute. The main reason we built this UFO in the first place is here, because for a long time while playing this game, I had a flying cow here in the air, because I decided I think it's a cool scene to put an UFO. But then I never managed to build a proper UFO out of everything or anything we had in the game. But now we had the asset editor that does not have to stop us anymore, and we could just build our own UFO and put it in here. And now we have a proper cow getting beamed up into the sky scene in Los Vagos, and I'm very proud of it, not gonna lie. Is a very silly asset that I don't think is gonna be very popular with most people because who the heck wants a weird flying UFO in their city builder? Probably not too many people, but I wanted one, so I made one, and I'm very proud of our shitty UFO. Well, I'm not saying nobody. I'm sure there is a few people who also appreciate this, but then I don't think most people are too much after this. Yes, I also pointed that out, Dava. This crop circle, I don't know where that came from. I clearly have nothing to do with any of this weird nonsense that happened here in the field. Clearly that wasn't me. Clearly that was these weird UFO people that drew a spaceship in the field over here. But I'm a bit sad. I'm very thankful, obviously. Also careful, guys. 3, 2, 1 till flashbang. Close your eyes. Okay, now we have day again. But yes, I'm a tad sad that you actually followed me or raided me. Is very appreciated for the raid, but I will have to stop streaming very soon as well. And I was planning to raid you. Now, who am I gonna raid, Dava? And big thank you, Pockets, for that follow. Very appreciated as well. We actually been building something today or starting to lay out an area that I think Dava is gonna appreciate. I decided our rail infrastructure in this entire build is too shit, so we're in this very ugly, unevolved or undeveloped area of Los Vagos, and trying to understand how we can make this terminus depot work the best with the little space we have here. Don't you worry, Dava, I will build a big rail depot as well for actual many trains, some more closer to a bigger city. But I also want a really shitty rural small rail depot somewhere here behind Los Vagos. And I've been trying to understand how I can lay out this area the best, because I do also need space to bring a connection up here to the prison we want to build eventually. So, more rail finally making it into Los Vagos. We always had a railway that looks kind of nice, but the infrastructure fueling our railway has been horrible, and I'm trying to make it a little less horrible than it was. Oh, and Dava, because you know everything about Rails, I asked many people the same question today. If you're still here, of course, if you need to raid and run, I get it as well. But I do have Rail questions that I don't understand, and you probably do. Okay, my question is a very simple one. I think maybe that's the train. Yes, that is a train. Perfect. Right while we're talking about it. We have this beautiful train, right? Is a custom asset. It is beautiful. I have unelectrified rails, clearly. And these have the pantograph. I learned this word today. I'm kind of proud. I did not know how it's called before. But we have the pantograph on this. What confuses me is that this author of this train, they have added unelectrified versions of this train. If we look at all of the prop versions, it has wagons without the electricity, and it even has this without electricity. So there is a version that should be perfectly fine on an unelectrified track like mine, right? I also think the pantographs look cool. The problem is we're very rural, so I don't think a pantograph is cool in my build. Otherwise, I love that it's there. Not for me. I don't understand it because we have this. He built this train as a version with electricity and without electricity, but I cannot use the one without electricity. If I look into my line and I look into all of these train models I have here in the bottom, all of these custom ones, all of these have prop versions without the pantograph, but in my line options, I can only take ones with electricity. Is that a problem of the train asset? Maestro says it's an asset problem where the author did not make that version without electricity available for us to choose? Or is this something I'm doing wrong with my rail setup? Because I would love to use this train, but I would love to use a version without a pantograph. But the entire train is one with pantograph in real life, so you actually do make a good point, because yes, the end here does not have the pantograph, and I guess this one also doesn't. I just wish we had an option to use both, right? Because I think, again, this is beautiful if you have tracks with electricity. 10 out of 10 model, beside being able to look through the windows onto the actual rail. Well, I cannot get it out in the right angle, but in the some angles you can literally watch through it. And I don't think it would even be any work for the asset creator, right? Because he does have all of the tools for it already. This has none, this has none. He would just need to give us a version where he replaces these two, ones with pantograph, two ones without. I also think that would be possible to do in the editor, but I don't think it's nice to mess with assets of other people unless you ask them for permission first. So I would actually try to see if that asset editor or that asset author is in any of the big discords from City. So I would actually like to shoot that guy a message if he is available anywhere, and carefully ask if he is interested in doing so or if he's fine with me doing that just for myself. And then, yeah, I would love to do that in the editor as well. But I do think asking him first if he wants to do so is the nicer way for it. But okay, then I guess my Astro is right, and it's actually just that he doesn't provide those, which I get it, that's fine, but also I'm a bit sad about it. Because I would absolutely love having that version without electricity. Because from all of the trains we currently have right now, yes, I was gonna say exactly the same thing. In all fairness, the non-electrified tracks are only achievable with mods. So it does make sense, but out of all of the trains we currently have in game, there only is 2 that work with electricity, and they're very cute. Hold on, let's put them on a line. Because they are very cute, but they are also very specific. So if we go into this one here, for example, and we remove the Canadian one, and we add this one. This one works perfectly fine without electricity. I love it. I want to use this on one of our lines. We'll have to wait a moment till it actually applies, so we can keep building a little while it's getting in service. But I'm going to show you the train that I really like and works great. Oh, it's right here. It actually spawned here. It's this one, but it's a single car variation, which I think is really cool. Like, this is a really cute train, and I very much like it. I think this very much also fits our build, but I don't want to just run single ones. Also, this is missing, is doing a wheelie. We're not going to question it. Clearly, these wheels are enough for this train. No need for the front wheels as well. But yes, I guess you make a very fair point, Maestro, that if people are making these assets, they obviously mainly have vanilla players in mind. And vanilla players can't use unelectrified rails, so I guess it's also fair that they don't provide us that. I wish they would provide us that though. It's just my context. I actually think pantographs also look really cool, and I think electrified trains are way cooler than diesel trains, but in my build, I don't think they fit so well. And again, as I said, I'm gonna have to stop streaming soon. I also will redo most of this. I just want to get a better idea of the spacing of this area, and if we can actually get away with placing a depot here. Because here, for example, I'd like to bring these out a lot softer, somewhere here. I mean, I'm actually fairly surprised, because yes, I know that, for example, Peanut also says it cost him a long time to get the phantographs right on the train he made. But I think they all look beautiful, like both the ones from this, I think, Chinese creator. I don't want to say anything wrong. But these look great. Obviously, they just look silly in my game because I am using the unelectrified tracks. But if you have electrified tracks, then these look amazing. So I think it is really cool that they're adding them. There is no version or no way in the game to animate those, right? To have a way in that train to actually raise and lower them depending on the track. Because obviously that would be the very coolest if they have this up while driving over an electrified trail and then they lower this down slightly. It is possible. Huh. I did not expect that. Okay, Maestro. If you release your train and it cannot do what we've been talking about, shame on you. But I know that you're doing stuff the right way. Really, I never paid attention to that, which again makes sense because my rails are in general unelectrified. I did not know that. Because, for example, the bad peanut train that I think looks beautiful sadly also doesn't do that. I've been looking at that as well and also drive the pantograph up, which again, slightly sad. The more I look at this, I think I want to carve into terrain here even. I want more space. I want this to be even deeper. I want more space to bring these rails here across. I think this side is good. I think we actually go all the way to go in this corner. We can bring the street out here and cross along here instead. Ah. Well, hold on. Because that I can understand, that they understand how to raise and lower on the direction. But I would assume that a train driving on a rail cannot tell if that rail is electrified or not. Because what I was talking about with raising and lowering them would actually be if we have an unelectrified part of the rail and then we have a second rail going out here that's electrified, where it raises them up, right? Here it drives with its engine. And then once it hits a place where it can use electricity, it would raise them up. I guess that is probably not possible, right? Because for that, the game would somehow have to share. Yeah, I was gonna say there must be any game logic around that, and I don't think we have that. Sad, because that would be so hot, honestly, so hot if this would work out. Now Dava is in the chat, I actually feel kinda embarrassed and bad about using those double rails that I'm using here, because I know all of the actual train enthusiasts are single rail lovers. So I guess now Dava is watching me. I feel a bit cheap with our weird double rail solution here. That surely Dava would do this with single rails. Why is this so sharp? Why can I not get this out smoother even if I drag this? I guess here is where we can smooth it. Yeah, actually saying that, in all fairness, I as much as I would like to keep streaming, because you just raided me, I do think I actually need to end stream, because it's nearly 1 o'clock and I have to work tomorrow. But I'll be streaming again tomorrow, and we will keep diving into that. I make a promise here today. I will rebuild this site with a single rail, because yes, Dava, you're correct. I should learn from trained masters like you are and do this the proper way. So I promise betterment tomorrow. And as a very last thing, I'm gonna sit you guys into one of our new Ufos. We used to do road trips in the past. Now we have a cooler alternative to road trips while I open up Twitch and see if there is somebody fun we can raid out to. Again, I was planning on raiding Dava, but I guess Dava was too fast for that. So I hope we're flying over something interesting. Right now it seems like we're flying over very ugly, undeveloped parts of our map. But I'm gonna open Twitch real quick in the background and have a look at who's playing. And I'm also curious, I guess this next week is gonna be an interesting one, because there is so many people in Sweden that I'm sure is gonna be a week where we'll get interesting city news as well. I would expect so at least, and it does not look like anybody who we're following is playing cities today, which is a bit sad because generally I try to play inner city. Okay, hold on. There is somebody who just went live, who we very much like. Did I just got a notification that Metzger started streaming, but if I check his stream, he's not live. Now I'm confused. I'm gonna give it 30 seconds to see if it's Twitch bugging out or if he actually just started streaming. Because if Metzger just started streaming, that's a no-brainer, an amazing cities builder who I very much am into and I think does absolutely beautiful builds. So I'd love to raid over there, but it does seem like Twitch was lying to me with that notification. Yeah, it is lying to me. I will send you guys over to Lishim while Lishi is sadly not playing cities today. It's at least somebody who plays cities all the time, and I'm sure most of you guys know Lishi. But I really have to get ready for bed and have to eat, so no more time searching for people. Lishi raid it is. Thank you so much for the raid, Davam, and thank you so much for all of the follows we've gotten today. And I hope all of you are having an absolutely beautiful evening. And I should be back tomorrow evening. And with that, I hope all of you cuties are having a wonderful night. And Lishi is be right back. We're raiding Cosmic instead. I give up, but I need to raid and run. So enjoy your time over at Cosmic. Thanks for tuning in and spending your time with me. And have an absolutely wonderful good night, cuties. Looking forward to loads of cool cities news in the next week when hopefully we get many of those due to the creator meetup in Sweden. And with that, enjoy your night, cuties. Bye bye.